Hey guys, it is lividfray. Hope you're all doing well today, and welcome back to another episode of Just the Good Stuff, where I show you only the good stuff from the vendor restocks each week. We're starting off right here inside home base, inside the terminal. This vendor has a pretty cool First Wave X45 for sale. Expert and Toxic. I would recommend rolling off Expert for Cool-Headed, and this is perfect for your Sentry builds. Mine is almost done. I'm still tweaking a couple things, and then once I have it into a spot where I would like it, I'll make sure to show it to you guys, but for now, I'm still working on that. The next item that this vendor has is a really good pair of Savage Gloves. It is a low stamina roll, but you could make this a bit better because the major attributes are already very, very good, sitting at SMG, damage, critical hit chance, and critical hit damage. You could roll SMG over to a different primary weapon stat, but you might not have to do this because there is another pair for sale this week that are very good, but I will get to those very shortly. Heading over to the advanced weaponry vendor, this vendor does have an Omega rifle suppressor for sale. Headshot damage, critical hit chance, and critical hit damage. We're very, very close to the maximum percentage roll here of 18.5, so I would definitely recommend picking these up because this critical hit chance and damage is very, very good for your damage output. Our next stop is going to be over here at Camp Clinton. Alright, over here at Camp Clinton, I'm going to quickly touch base on this Cassidy that's for sale. It does have an accurate roll as well as sustained. You could roll sustained off for whatever you want. You could do responsive or really anything you would like to do here, but accurate is actually a pretty good roll to have on this weapon. So if you wanted to mess around with a double Cassidy build for Lone Star, this one already has a pretty decent roll on it, so you could just put whatever else you want here for the secondary slot. And for the next item that we have here, it's going to be a backpack. So we have the Inventive backpack for sale here. It's over 1200 electronics on the main stat. It does have a critical hit damage roll here, but it does have almost maximum percentage ammo capacity. So this is a really good backpack to be picking up for your skill builds. You could also make this work for a PvP build if you wanted to. You could keep critical hit damage here and roll electronics over to firearms or stamina. But usually I would recommend a specialized backpack instead of an Inventive, but you could still make Inventive work. And heading down to the mods, this vendor is selling a stamina mod at 261 stamina, 3300 skill power. These are perfect to be throwing onto your defense builds because this skill power added on is going to help you reach that 125,000 cap much faster. Alright, we have made it to Camp Hudson. We're going to be checking out the gear vendor. Camp Hudson has actually had some decent stuff at the gear vendor recently, so these are the other Savage Gloves that I was telling you guys about. There is a critical hit chance, assault rifle damage, and skill haste roll on electronics. This isn't like the ideal roll here. You would more than likely want something on firearms with assault rifle critical hit chance and damage, but you could still definitely make these work, especially because the skill haste is maxed out here at 9%. This would work really well with the hybrid build, for example. I was actually considering buying these for a tactician build that I'm thinking of doing. It's more of like a hybrid DPS build, but I don't know if I'm going to be using these or not. I think I'm going to be using tactician gloves, but we'll see. I'm still considering. The next thing you'll definitely want to pick up here, though, are these 6% first aid ally heal mods. I like to throw these on my final measure healer builds where I'm using the defib heal. This is going to help heal your teammates a lot better. I would definitely recommend picking these up for any kind of healer or support build. Our next stop is going to be DZ West 31st. This is the bottom left checkpoint in the Dark Zone. This vendor is selling a pretty good LVOA. We have Talented, Deadly, and Unforgiving here. This is perfect for PvP. You can roll Talented off for something like Responsive, Deadly, Unforgiving, in my opinion, is like the god roll talents to have for PvP. But you could also do something along the lines of Vicious, Deadly, Unforgiving if you would like to. Whatever you want this top slot to be, you can definitely make it work. And our last stop for the items that are for sale at the vendors is going to be East 61st Street. This is the checkpoint up in, it's like right on the barrier of DZ8 and DZ9. This vendor is going to be selling an extended magazine at a 121% magazine size. I believe this is the maximum percentage with reload speed and rate of fire. Ideally, you would want critical hit damage instead of reload speed, but this is still really, really good. Very solid magazine. If you don't have any of these, I would buy a couple of them because we don't get the 121s very often. And thank you again to my moderator, Op, for providing me with the blueprint footage. Starting off with the MG5, we've been getting really lucky with the MG5 recently, but I would still recommend picking it up because we never know when we're not going to have it for a series of time. We also have the firearms vest available inside the terminal. Would highly recommend these to craft for your reckless chest pieces and whatnot. We also have the firearms mask. I would like to recommend getting this for specifically the refresh talent, or Tenacious is really good for PvP. We do also have the firearms gear mod blueprint here. and the Performance Gear Mod Blueprint. And I always recommend these ones. They seem to be for sale every week, but if you have the Phoenix credits to spare, they're barely 200 credits. I would just buy them because it does help you in the event of when you really need that one specific mod, but you just can't seem to find it at any of the vendors and you can't get lucky with drops. You can always roll the dice with crafting. You'd be amazed how many 260 plus mods that I get that I end up keeping. But we're heading over to Camp Clinton now. This vendor does have the Navy MP5N blueprint. I think we've had this 2 weeks in a row, but I still like to recommend it. It's a very good alternative SMG to the house. Firearms gloves for sale. If you don't like the Savage gloves that are for sale this week, you can go ahead and craft your own, and they will already be on the firearms stat. You just have to try and get lucky and get some Savage glove rolls. The Firearms Gear Mod blueprint and the Electronics Gear Mod blueprint are also for sale. I did kind of skip over them, but you also have the option to get the angled grip and the small laser pointer blueprints. I mean, usually with these blueprints, you should just buy them anyway. To be completely honest, if you guys see blueprints come in that are of power level 34, I would just buy them. Although this hand stop is an exception because we only get power level 33s, I don't believe a 34 blueprint exists for the hand stop, and this is for reload speed. So I would definitely recommend buying the hand stop blueprint as well, because unfortunately the power level 33 is the best that we have in the game. That is going to wrap up this week's episode of Just the Good Stuff. This one is unfortunately a bit of a smaller reset. We did get quite a few items that really aren't just not worth buying, so I'm definitely not going to waste your guys' time with those. As usual, I'm only showing you the stuff that I would recommend. Some of the stuff that I recommend isn't going to be for you. That's completely fine, but I do hope that there is at least something this week that you'll be picking up. But if you did not enjoy this week, there is always next week. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.